Hi, I'm Christine from Poise for Success, and today I'm going to be talking to you about my favorite way to teach a dog to send out around an object. Now, this is a great behavior that is applicable to so many different dog sport contexts. This has applications in canine musical freestyle, in canine parkour, in agility, and much, much more. Training your dog to go out around an object this way is simple, straightforward, and very fun for the dog. So the equipment needed to train your dog to go around an object this way is a clicker, preferably. You could use some other marker, but I like to use a clicker, treats or toys. I usually start this with treats, but with a toy-motivated dog, I will switch to toys once we move along a little bit in the process. And of course, something for your dog to go around, such as a cone, a jump stanchion, a flower pot, a chair, anything that you have that your dog can learn to go out around. So to start this, I set up with my dog either on my left or my right. It doesn't matter which side you start this on. This is something that I will switch the dog from one side to the other as we go through the training process so the dog learns to go in both directions. Pick a side to start with, any side. If your dog is a very close, tight heeler, you might want to start with your dog on the right because your dog might be a little more loose on that side. But again, it's totally up to you and based on what works for you and your dog. You're going to set up with the object that you're going to want your dog to go around directly in front of you and your dog. And at first, you're going to want your dog to know that you're going to have something to reinforce him or her with. So you actually can go ahead and have the food right in your hand as you start this because you really want your dog's attention on you've got something your dog wants. You're going to walk toward the object together, and when you get to it, you're going to let it split you and your dog apart. And as your dog is going past it, at this point you're walking past it together, you're going to click and hand your dog the treat on the other side. You walk a few steps past, hand your dog the treat. Set up again, repeat. Set up again, repeat. Perhaps switch sides. Set up again, repeat. Yes, good job, nice. Yes, good job. You're going to want to do this, just this, over several training sessions until your dog is very clearly expecting this object to split the two of you together and that you two are going to continue to walk by. When you've got that, you're gonna throw your dog for a little bit of a loop. You're gonna set up as normal. At this point, you still want your dog to see that you have a reinforcer. That'll get dropped pretty soon. But this time, you're not going to walk past the object. You're gonna go right up to it. You don't want to stop like 5 feet back. You're gonna act like you were gonna do what you've been doing. You're gonna walk to the object with your dog, but you won't pass it. And what should happen is that your dog, who now expects to keep going, is going to keep going, realize that you didn't keep going, and automatically turn back toward you, looking for the treat or the toy that you've been presenting all along. You're going to click or mark as your dog is arcing around the object and reinforce when your dog is in front of you. Good boy. Now, repeat this several times and be sure to switch sides. But if your dog ends up getting sticky, if your dog does that once and then is like, oh no, you're not going to fool me again, and stops before going out around the object, you can go back to walking past it together and kind of change up. So maybe walk past it together 2 or 3 times and then do a rep where you stop. So your dog starts to learn that if you stop, he or she should arc out around the object, and you will click and treat your dog for doing that. And what will happen is every time you stop, your dog will start to arc out around the object. Next step, you're going to start to add just the tiniest little bit of distance to what is going to become the send around the object. Now note, at this point, you're still not using any words or cues, but as you start to allow your dog to move out away from you in order to go out around the object, be sure to step toward the object with your dog side foot. If your dog is on the right, you're going to step toward the object with your right foot. If your dog is on the left, you're going to step toward the object with your left foot. It might just be easier to think of, I'm stepping toward the object with my dog side foot. It looks like this. Okay, so again, at this point, you're still not using any arm movements and you're still not using any words. And what you want to do is to repeat this until you can build up to a send of about 2 or 3 feet. For a small dog, 1 or 2 feet might be enough. For a bigger dog, you definitely want at least 2 feet, possibly 3. Yes. Nice. Yes, good. Once your dog is offering the send out around the object without any verbal or physical cue other than your dog's side foot, you can go ahead and start to add the cue that you would like to use for this behavior. You're welcome to use a physical arm toward the object. You're welcome to use a word. You're also welcome to do both. Depending on the context that you need this for, one or the other or both might be more appropriate. To add the cue, simply do what you've been doing, set your dog up to offer the behavior, but as you are about to move into it, add in the cue that you would like your dog to learn, like this. Yes. Good. Fly. Yes. Good. Fly. Yes. From there, it's just a matter of practice and generalizing to other objects. And again, for a toy-motivated dog, you might want to switch over from food to a toy because that can help build your dog's enthusiasm for the behavior. But for food-motivated dogs, they can learn to do this very nicely with just food. Fly. Yes. Nice job. Fly. Good boy. Nice job. Fly. Beautiful. Circle. Fly. Nice job. Woo! So there you have it. My favorite way to teach a dog go around an object. If you have any questions, please feel free to post them in the comments below or join the Poise for Success Freestyle Facebook group. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video.